Alright, in a previous video I showed off this build that I really like. This is a build that's similar to builds I used in ASE that we held off Titans and things like that from teleporters. Now of course to hold off Titans, the caging would be farther out, so we'd have multiple layers of caging, one for Titans, one for everything else. Alright, so the Titans would go out probably another 3 or 4 away to make sure they couldn't smack the turrets, because I think Titans had something like 7 foundation range with their attacks. So unfortunately you have to put your caging out into tech weapon range. Anyway, that'll be something to deal with when the Titans come out. Until Titans, this is probably decent enough. 2 to 3 foundations away, just make sure they're not quite 17 foundations away. Right, but the big issue with this build, there's a couple of issues. One with the top caging, and one with the pillars. Alright, now to show you the issue with using pillars in ASA right now. This is not how they worked in ASE, and I didn't think they would have worked so different in ASA, but apparently they do. Alright, as you can see, the pillar is supported at the top by other pillars. Okay, so it's supported at the top, and it's got other pillars going off of it, and it's supported at the bottom. So if the bottom pillar were to break, all the pillars should hang from this top pillar, but that's not how it works in ASA. All the pillars break if the bottom pillar goes, so do not build with pillars. Alright, that's my mistake. I thought pillars worked like they did in ASE, and they do not. They do not do support from the top. Now, it's not always true. So you see I started those from the bottom. Let me start some from the top and work my way down. Alright, so these pillars are started at the top and work their way down. Now, if I destroy the bottom pillar, they all stay. Alright, so we'll put that one back in, and then we'll go destroy the top pillar and watch what happens. They should all remain standing, right? Because that's attached from the bottom. But they don't. Even the one attached to the ground is gone. And apparently Dilo wants to fight. But anyway, so yeah, so they're all gone. The pillar's only attached to one point right now, and that's not good. But you know, the sideways pillars are still supported. So what you want to do instead of pillars is double door frames, which I've shown in a previous video, and I showed you how to build double door frames. So before we placed all this stuff down, we'd want to use double door frames. These support better, and you know, they are lower profile than pillars anyway, so they're better all around. So not only do they create a snap point at the top and bottom, so you can use ceilings at different levels along this to create different snap points to support the double walls easier. But to see how to use double door frames and build them properly, check out my PvP tips videos on building. There's several to watch with very good information in them. Pillars don't snap, they only support from one direction or the other on the ground, going up and down. But what about when you turn them sideways? What kind of snap points do those create? Alright, so we'll start with this simple little build here, and we'll go out this direction with it. Now these work like the pillars on the ground, since I started here and working my way this way, which is kind of a... So if these work like the pillars on the ground, I started on the left and worked my way to the right. If I destroy the one on the left, they should all fall. But they don't. So these, when snapping left... Alright, so pillars when snapping... So pillars when turned sideways will actually snap how they used to. They will take support from whatever they're connected to. Unlike pillars that go up and down. So I think the pillars going up and down not snapping correctly is a mistake, and when Wildcard gets around to fixing that issue, which they're probably way low on their list if they even know about it. But anyway, when they get to fixing that issue, then pillars might be worth it again. But as far as using them sideways, they're still pretty decent to use. They take up less profile room than like half ceilings. Right, let's see. See, a half ceiling takes up a larger profile than pillars, but if you wanted to replace pillars, half ceilings would be a way to go. Right, and just to show you this, we'll go ahead and snap some here, like that. And we'll destroy the support, left and right. And look at that. They accepted these snap points, even though the ground pillars won't do that. So the most useful way to use pillars right now is going to be sideways. Now the next thing to address is the caging on top. When I first built this, which was pretty early on in ASA, they worked during my test that I did. Maybe I didn't test them enough. Maybe something changed since then. I don't know. But thankfully. But thanks to Nighthawk pointing out that the caging didn't work for him, I went back and double checked to see what was going on, and yeah, sure enough. As you can see, I even doubled the door frames. I went I went both directions with them just to see if that would fix it. And look at that. Stego goes right through. That shouldn't be happening. Stegos can't fit through that. Right? Most dinosaurs can't fit through those. And yet the stego falls right through. So that's something Wildcard needs to fix as well. That should not be happening, but since it is, and we can't count on Wildcard to fix it and make it work right. Alright, so to fix it, I just did this. It's still kind of low profile. It's better than pillars. Turrets will you'll still get more turrets firing than you would with pillars. There will still be some LOS issues, but it won't be so bad. And as you can see, the stegos get stuck. And this works really good too, because these stegos actually get stuck. I mean, the player can no longer try to run away and escape. The pillar will get stuck in those. And the turtles get stuck too, but you know, if the turtle falls through, it's not a big deal. Your turret should be set up to shoot the C4 off the turtles anyway, and if they fall all the way through, then you can get rid of them safer. But you don't want a player going through, right, and landing at the bottom, because they would really wreak destruction and destroy your teleport pad easily. So the fix is simple. If you've already done the build I showed you and you need to do the fix, it's just railings. So the cool thing about railings is this. One. Come on. All right, let's just do it here. 1, 2, 3. 3 railings is the size of one wall. And now the only problem with railings is, unlike double doors, they do block this whole section off of turrets. I know, I think there are some videos out there showing turrets firing through railings. Maybe they do. I wouldn't count on that in the future. So understand that stacking your railings like this instead of just doing one on top of the double door frame may create a larger LOS issue, but it still shouldn't be too bad. Go. Alright, so as you can see, we've stacked railings, and now the turrets at angles, we've blocked them from being able to shoot through. So only the turrets that can see the top of the stegos and the very bottom of the stego that can shoot up through here will still be able to hit the stego and turtles, whatever else is up here. So you need to be real careful about this, because this can create an LOS issue. And again, if turrets are currently firing through railings, that doesn't mean they will in the future. So it may be better to only do one on top of your door frames, or maybe maximum 2. So you definitely don't want to create LOS issues of tubes where players can come in here, use a grappling hook, and hang inside here and not get shot. Alright, that's definitely not something you want to be doing. So while stacking them seems powerful, it could actually be a detriment. So going 1 or 2 high is probably all you're going to want to do. So we have the 1 here, and we just go 2 like this. We'll show you. This will require quite a few rockets to get through anyway, right? Just to get through the first one and then down to the second one, which is still really good for caging. As you can see here, this LOS might block a couple of turrets, but it's not going to block much, because the stego is going to be sticking up above and below, and the player can't just grapple in here and hide from turrets. So going too high is probably safe. Be careful about going any higher. 3 high starts to become an LOS issue, especially with small players. It might be able to actually use it to hide from turrets. Alright, and of course on this build, you notice I left this first part open, where so stegos could technically drop through here, and they would be close enough to tech rifle the teleport pad. You can just always expand the caging out over this part as well. Keep that from happening. But honestly, unless your caging goes out 17 foundation spaces away, they're going to be able to stego drop in and reach your teleport pad with a tech rifle. So to make the double door frames even stronger, we could use ceilings as well. As you see, we have them attached to the ground and then not at the top. Right, so we can go up and show you a couple of different ways of doing this. So that if it gets blown up at the bottom, it still hangs. And then if it gets blown up at the bottom and top, it falls. So then we'll show you how to fix that issue as well. So here at the top, now, you can notice we could use pillars instead of ceilings if we wanted. So we can come out like this with pillars. Right, because they snap kind of like ceilings. They work similar to ceilings when they're turned like this, as we saw earlier. But for this purpose, we're going to use a ceiling right here. Now, as you see, we ran these door frame up from there, so it's on the same level as this one. Okay, so when we snap the ceiling here, it now holds this door frame and this door frame, and these door frames now hold these door frames, right, just from one ceiling. Now the pillars would be less of an LOS issue, so they might be better to use. The ceilings is just kind of old school style, because you can turn pillars sideways. So if you're under the ceiling, some of the higher up turrets may not be able to see you, but all these other turrets still can, so it's not a big deal. As long as you don't go too far over with them and stack too many of them. So now with the ceiling, if they take out the top and bottom, then the rest of the ones in the middle will fall. So how do you prevent that? Alright, so we'll come down 2 doors, we'll put another ceiling. Alright, we'll come down 2 doors and we'll put another ceiling. Alright, there we go. That's a good support. And this way, if somebody gets under it here, this will get shot by lots of turrets. Now, if they take out the bottom and the top, won't this still fall? Yes, right? But to make this fall, they would have to take out the bottom of all 3 of these door frames and the top of all 3 of these door frames. It's no easy task. And since they're door frames, if you really wanted to, you could add another set here or here that goes all the way from the top to the bottom. You could even do both so that you have on all 4 sides, so you have even more door frames to have to get through. That's a lot more resources, and it does create a bit of an LOS issue. As you can see, you can use the door frame to create a small LOS issue, and players can hide from some of the turrets. It's still not a huge deal, no more than pillars really. I mean, I doubt players will get a huge advantage from this. So if you really wanted to spend the materials and do all 4 sides and go all the way to the top, that would give you extra support. You could go even a step further. And as long as this ceiling is supported, it supports everything above it, right? So you can pick a ceiling. So we'll say this ceiling. And we can come out to these. Now, as long as these door frames don't fall, this will hold all of that up. So as you can see, you can do even more things, like we could come this way with it. Right, and we could go all the way over to this corner and help support that corner from this corner. Right, and both sides will hold each other up. Now, it would be better to do this up higher, so you're not blocking your ability to walk through here with dinosaurs. But you could do this. And then along the way, if you wanted to, you could add supports like this. You go all the way down and all the way to the top. And just make sure you leave enough room for dinosaurs to walk through. Well, that's kind of getting extreme with your snap points, but it does just show that there's a way to create lots of snap points to support your structure and keep your structures from falling down as easily. And that's just the way that is. There's nothing really can be done about that. Right, and that should pretty much make this as strong as possible. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. Have an awesome day.